Welcome to Northwest Profiles, a look at people, places, and events of interest in the inland Northwest.
Okanagan County has more land than any county in Washington state. With relatively few people and many animals, this is the kind of setting preferred by the staff of the Animal Hospital of Omak. The hospital sees its share of house pets needing care, but the doctors here go a step further. Like country doctors in the old days, these folks make house calls.
Everyday care, vaccinations, stuffy noses, things like that we're able to do in the animal's home.
Dr. Jean Gilbranson and her husband, Dr. Don Lay, make regular rounds in the area to care for pets and animals of various sizes.
We're actually taking in a larger area than I had originally anticipated, going all the way to Oroville, Cooley Dam, down towards Brewster, and all the way to Wenatchee. I've practiced in a regular veterinary clinic before. Home practice, I find out so much more about the animal, the situation in which it lives in, owners, their bond with their animals. The fear of the animal is so different. In a clinic situation, I think anyone who's brought their animal into a clinic has known that, put out the paws, I'm not going in the front door syndrome. They seemed quite relaxed in their home. We have a lot less aggression, a lot less fear, and we're able to do most of our things there. Obviously, anything that requires anesthesia or more in-depth study, we do bring up to our facility.
Jean and Don try to make the animals here as comfortable as possible, but that doesn't stop with house pets. A few years ago, Jean began working with injured wild animals like deer, cats, and others.
We take on everything that we possibly can. We try not to do some of the larger species unless it's absolutely necessary, such as bear. Deer are a constant in this area. We get anywhere from 2 to 8 fawns a year. Most of the time is the mistake of humans, that they think the poor thing has been left and abandoned by its mother, and they pick up this cute little thing and they keep it at home for about a week or two till they realize they might have a bigger problem than they think. Nutrition disorders, people just try to feed them cow's milk, and all of a sudden they'll end up with a very, very sick fawn, and that's when all of a sudden I get them. That's a big problem. I can't emphasize enough that they're really not orphans. Mommy's there. She's just hiding in the woods. She comes in, feeds the baby, and then leaves. The main thing that people don't know about fawns is they have no scent on them. And so the mother gives birth to them, leaves them hidden in the grass. Predators can walk right by, not even know they're there, but the mother has a very strong odor to her. So she's protecting her baby by feeding it and then leaving it alone till it's strong enough and big enough to follow her and be able to keep up. But we come along and see this poor little baby sitting in a field all by itself, and they're sweet and cute and make the cutest little sound, but that's the biggest problem, and they don't see mommy and they think orphan. Very, very rare that deer are actually orphaned.
Jean has become especially interested in working with injured birds of prey, and she now operates the only licensed Raptor rehabilitation facility in north central Washington. In her first year, she worked with about 50 birds. Now she handles over 150 each year.
5 years ago, I was doing mainly hawks and owls. That has really switched in the last year, and I've done more eagles in the last year than I've ever done. A lot of goldens and a lot of bald eagles, which is amazing animals to be working on. Definitely my favorite. A lot more falcons that we've been getting as well, and less owl species. I don't know if it's really a change in the population numbers or if that's just what I'm seeing here.
When a bird or animal arrives at the hospital, Jean first treats it for dehydration and starvation, and then she treats specific injuries. Over time, she has seen many reoccurring types of injuries.
All human caused, basically. Electrocution on some of the birds, many more hit by cars. Detox. Poisonings is another big one, especially for the eagles and some of the birds on the higher end of the food chain. Osprey, things like that are hunting up and down the rivers. Another real big one, and I hate to say it, but it's gunshot wounds. That's one of the really big ones that we get coming in here, and it's the #1 reason I have animals that are unreleasable is from gunshot wounds. They get their wings shot off.
Good boy. See, this is what he likes to do. This is the part that's terrifying. He's never done anything bad, but you can imagine having that large of a beak sitting on your shoulder. It's a little intimidating. It's been very traumatic on him. He's only been here 2 months now. He was hunting up towards Lake Concanelli until somebody stopped and shot him on a deer carcass. Thank God he had some food, because he was down for a couple weeks before anybody found him.
Jean says that up to 40% of her raptors and about 95% of her deer return to the wild, but some can never be released because their injuries would not allow them to survive. They will live with Jean for the rest of their lives. She uses these birds and animals to help educate people about the issues connected with injured wildlife.
So if you find one of these guys injured or down on the ground, do not try to pick them up, okay? They're very dangerous. These talons are very, very sharp, and they go through your skin, even on a small bird like this.
Jean gives presentations to classes and groups, and she welcomes certain groups for tours of her facility.
We aren't a zoo. I don't have people just stop by and look at the animals, that kind of a syndrome. We don't do that at all. We're an education facility. That's what the animals I have here are used for. And I go out and do mainly groups. I do have an occasional group that'll come in, Boy Scouts at the college, Girl Scouts and whatnot, and do tours and education. But we don't do, pay $1 and you can walk through the facility kind of syndrome. Most of our things here and what we try to do with the animals is to get them back out. That's our biggest thing.
Very good.
We are on tribal land, and we also do tribal wildlife as well, the Colville tribe, as well as state wildlife. And the tribe has just recently found out about me, the ability for their agents to start bringing me injured animals and getting them back out there too. They're trying to do a support system as far as supplies go.
Rehabilitating wildlife is a secondary job for Dr. Jean Gulbranson. Sometimes the demands of money and time make it seem like it's her primary job, but it's also the thing she loves the most.
That's been very interesting for me to be able to get these guys to the point of injury, rehabilitated, and out flying again. It's just an amazing feeling to see one of these guys take off and say, wow, maybe I did have an impact. Particularly in the larger bird species. I mean, seeing a golden eagle fly away that, you had originally that was in a coma, it's an amazing thing. Does every animal count? I think so. When you're talking about some of these raptor species that breed for life, getting out one female golden eagle is definitely an important thing. So we really work our hardest to get these guys back out.
If you have a story idea for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, 3911 South Regal, Spokane, Washington, 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS Public Television.